Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Eagles Nest. You're with your host, Sunshine. You guys know me on TikTok as Sunshine State Eagles. I am joined by the Queen of Philadelphia herself, Simone with the Sports. You guys, I don't even need to introduce her. You know exactly who she is. We're powered by the Sports Lounge Media. Thank you to the Sports Lounge Media for making tonight's episode possible. Let's also thank our sponsors, the Mogul brand and the Diamond Collection. Thank you guys for making the Eagles podcast what it is. And let's get into it, guys. A lot's happened. A lot's happened, Simone, since the last time me and you linked up on here and talked some birds. We've had the draft, rookie mini camps underway. We have a lot of other things going on, but I'm more interested per se in what your thoughts were on how Howie Roseman performed in the draft. Obviously, he did a pretty good job from the bird's eye view of a lot of fans. But let's look at an insider. I know you got the ability to be at the draft, so give us kind of an inside look on how that was for you.
The draft was lit. That was my first time in Green Bay. Obviously,
Round of applause. She's doing it, baby. She was at the draft, getting the content. One of the premier Eagles content creators, guys. You know who she is. But sorry, continue. Go ahead.
You so dramatic.
So dramatic. That's the point.
But yeah, it was fun. The weather was amazing. The vibes were great. It was great. That was my first time doing the red carpet. So that was a great experience, great opportunity, a lot of fun. Obviously got to talk to Jihaad Campbell. So that was actually one of my favorite interviews. And then we ended up drafting him. So it was like perfect.
It's crazy how it works. And you had the big old mic. I watched a few of the videos, guys. If you have a second, go to her page either on YouTube or on TikTok and check out some of those interviews, man. The personality's really there. It's absolutely incredible. But outside of that, Philadelphia, obviously they went Jihaad Campbell in the first round, an absolute steal at 31, in my opinion. Don't really know how the rest of the NFL allowed him to go all the way down to 31. We know it's due to some shoulder problems, and that's why he also sat out today, the first day of rookie minicamp. But coaches, as well as Howie Roseman, seem very keen that it's not going to be an issue. They're not really worried about it. Outside of that, how do we feel about Jihaad Campbell? I mean, obviously, Howie Roseman has done an incredible job in prior drafts getting defensive cats. You got Jalen Carter, you got Cooper DeJean, Quinion Mitchell, just to name a few.
Okay, my bad. My timer's beeping, but I'm going to be right back.
No, you good. Everybody in the chat, appreciate everybody for coming out tonight to the Eagles podcast. I appreciate everyone, man. We've got Simone with the Sports on, the Queen of Philadelphia, as well as we're going to be talking about the NFL draft. We're going to be talking about the NFC conference as it stands, and we'll give you guys our Super Bowl picks for next year, or way too early because we're nice like that. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. Jihaad Campbell, coming to the Philadelphia Eagles, falling to him at 31. I think that's a real steal for the Philadelphia Eagles. He could play off-ball linebacker as well onto the line, and it wasn't necessarily that it was an area of need. I think it was just that you couldn't let that guy go into the next round, right?
Right. I think it was a great move, just going best player available there, like you said, not like a glaring need, but then just going best player available. Obviously, this was a defensive-heavy draft. We need as many playmakers that we could grab this offseason on defense to replace, all that we lost during the offseason. And then, like you said, he's so versatile. Nakobe Dean, he's going to start the season injured, and Jihaad is someone who can instantly slide in, play inside while Nakobe Dean is injured. But he's also effective as a pass rusher as well. Another area where, we lost some guys at. So I think it's the perfect piece. He was supposed to go higher, fail, obviously, because of injury, but that's been working out great for us these last couple of drafts. Obviously, Nolan Smith failed because of injury and size, worked out amazing. Who else? Kobe Dean failed because of injury, in size. So it was perfect for us to get Jihaad. I really liked the energy. I liked his mindset. He loves Philly. He's from the area. He's already talking like, he got a mouthpiece on him, which you love. Like, they were asking him about joining a Super Bowl winning team, and he was like, the rich get richer. Like, he's confident, he's cocky. I like it. He's ready to come in and compete. So I love the move for Jihaad.
Hold on, chat. My hands are shaking. He haven't played a snap in Philly, and my hands are shaking. Hey,
Right.
I couldn't agree more. I think that Jihad is a great addition to a defense that doesn't necessarily need linebacker. I think for his first year, he'll definitely play interiorly. I know that he named Zach Bond as a favorite linebacker of his, so that that makes the heart feel good. He's going to be learning from Zach Bond, who, by the way, first team All Pro. Don't want to toot Vic Fangio's horn too hard, but he's a first team All Pro coming from a team in which he was a special teams player. Very happy that he's going to get to play with him. Like you said, Nakobe Dean doesn't have to rush back from injury. He can take his time, get it right. It was a knee injury. We all know that he needs to take his time with that. Outside of that, how he also dipped his hand into the pool back in Athens and went and got Smile Munden Jr. as well, who is going to be, I think, a very surprising piece for this Philadelphia Eagles team. Now, Munden still has a lot to work on. He still needs to work on run fit, technique, that kind of thing. I think that, Munden will be used a lot like Oren Burks was for us as a special teams player and a situational third down backer. But I'm very happy with the haul. And then outside of that, I want to talk about, first I want to ask you, what was your favorite draft pick for the Philadelphia Eagles? Who was your favorite player that we brought in?
Oh, it's so hard not to go Jihad, because obviously our first round pick, and then obviously I got to interview him, and he was real cool. Like, he was so nice, family so nice, like just laid back. Love his personality. And then obviously he's from the area, like, and he grew up an Eagles fan. His confidence, like, so it's easy to go like our first round pick, but with Jihad, it's a special case scenario, I feel like. So definitely Jihad. I would say number 2 is probably Ty Robinson, because I think that's somebody who could be like a underrated sleeper kind of guy for us in this draft. And we know, like, 3rd round, 4th round picks. I know he was 4th round, but like that early day 2 picks for us, those have been hitting lately. Like, those.
Yeah, I mean, right? Like, I think there was a guy, his name was Cooper DeJean. I think he had a pick 6 in the Super Bowl. I don't know, nothing crazy.
Jalix Hunt, 3rd round pick. Nakobe Dean, lately 3rd round pick. So we've been hitting kind of like with that 3rd round, early 4th round pick. So I'm not sleeping on Ty at all just because he was in the 4th round. I think that's a guy that could come in and make a impact felt early.
Absolutely. I mean, he's right down the street in Jersey. He grew up an Eagles fan. Jihad's a hard one not to pick, but you hit the nail right on the head when you talked about Ty Robinson. Eagles fans, Ty Robinson is going to be a day 1 rotational defensive lineman in this defense. The kid can play the shade, he can play the 3, and he can play the 5. Hell, I would feel comfortable lining him up off ball at the 8. The kid is so athletic. He's 6'6", 288 pounds, and he runs 20 miles an hour. The Vanilla Gorilla's coming, and there ain't nowhere you can hide.
Is that what they really call him?
I swear they called him it in the press conference.
They did? Okay.
In his introductory.
Somebody commented on my video, and they was like, they call him that. But I didn't know if they were joking or not.
Absolutely insanely marketable name. But Ty Robinson, he's going to be a guy that's going to get day 1 snaps. He gets to learn from Jalen Carter, arguably a top 5 defensive tackle in the league right now. You still have big baby Jordan Davis, whose 5th year just got picked up. So he's going to be in Philadelphia teaching him a thing or two. And we still have Romeo Jomo, who's going to be able to be up, inside of that defensive line. Our front 4 is just as dangerous as some of these other teams, guys. Do not doubt Vic Fangio. He's going to be at work. I mean, today the rookies were at mini camp. A lot of them getting reps, seeing Ty Robinson and some of the offensive line. And that brings me to my second, since Ty Robinson was my first. My second, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that Cameron Williams out of Texas, the tackle, has a lot of potential to possibly replace Lane Johnson one day in his future. The kid has so much upside. He's humongous, 6'6", 317 pounds, I believe, with 11-inch hands, which puts him in the 98th percentile for, size in the NFL when it comes to tackle. The only problem, he does deal with some penalty issues. His footwork isn't quite there yet. But he's coming to Stoutland University, where cats come as, what did they call my man Mekhi Becton? Washed, busted,
right.
Lazy, and they leave as all pros. So, and he should have been an all pro. But I think that, he's got a lot of potential, as well as Hinton from Michigan, both of those guys. I'm a big offensive line guy. I love the trenches. I agree with Howie Roseman. But don't sleep on guys like Matt McWilliams either. The kid is extremely fast. He's versatile. Andrew Makuba is going to have day 1 reps in the secondary. Right. Him and Sidney Brown, they're both physical. I love his instinctual skills. Now, he may not be the most athletic in terms of what we usually take, excuse me. But guys, he's got the same build as CJ Gardner-Johnson. Literally the same build. 5'10" or 5'11", 185 pounds. Literally the same build.
Yeah,
But
because
yeah,
everybody's saying like he's undersized. But I'm like, GJ wasn't humongous.
literally, we're not going to act like the man's 6'1". We
Right.
obviously there's Malachi Starks, there's anomalies that are that
Yeah.
size. Also, Baltimore, you're on my list this year,
Right.
Baltimore fans.
Right.
The excuses are done. Lamar's
Yeah.
got his super team. I need him to
Right.
perform.
They always
Um,
do a good job drafting.
They do. Yeah,
Baltimore
the
does.
Harbaugh knows what he's doing over there.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, the Eagles, I would give them an A in the draft. I know that sounds biased, but seriously, from an objective standpoint, I thought we answered every single area of need and we got value at positions that we didn't necessarily need. So I thought Howie Roseman absolutely killed it. Just to give the chat prefix, I also gave the Giants a very good draft grade as well as the Dallas Cowboys. Sorry, my bad.
I say the little boys.
I love that. Yeah, the little boys is also one of my favorite ones as well. But yeah, man, I think that the NFC East is going to be very competitive this season. Every team, a lot of people sleep and they like to say that the NFC North is the team to beat. They're the squad, guys. The East had two teams vying for a chance to play for a Super Bowl. One had a rookie quarterback, and now this next season we look at the Giants and the Cowboys. The Giants got better significantly on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Now you have Russell Wilson back there, who is going to be an upgrade from Daniel Jones. He's going to be an upgrade from Daniel Jones. And outside of that, I like Malik Neighbors. I think he's a topper. He will end up being a top receiver. And that front four for the New York Giants is terrifying. Let's just call a spade, right? So you got Sexy Dexy. You got now Abdul Carter, that I believe is the only generational player in this draft in terms of overall, but I ain't gonna lie, Jahad Campbell has kind of changed my mind on that. But I think that, he'll be a day one guy with Thibodeau in the rotation, as well as Brian Burns. There's no reason to believe that the Giants are not going to be significantly better than they were a year ago.
Scary, bro.
Yeah, like give me your thoughts on the NFC East and how each team drafted. It can be quick. We don't have to go super in depth, but I thought they all did pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you said, going into next season before the draft, it was kind of like us in Washington. But I think the Giants, like you said, they're having a sneaky good offseason. They've been loading up, like you said, adding Abdul Carter to this already nasty defensive line. Like, they didn't need any help on the defensive line, and then they add somebody who's like a generational talent in Abdul Carter. So it was already had a great pass rush, had a great front, and that's going to be even more tougher, to beat and go against. And then, like you said, getting a quarterback that we know what Russell Wilson can do. Had a little step back last season in Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh's offense overall is just been inconsistent with a lot of funks. So him teaming up with Malik Neighbors, shoot, they ain't catch
it's
up
a little sweat, right?
They ain't catch up to us in Washington yet, but before, it was like Giants on the schedule, bye week. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like, hold on, we got to actually strap these pads on. You know what I mean? Actually bite down on this mouthpiece, take this team serious. You know what I mean?
100%. I would say that the Giants would have gotten better enough that they would be truly terrifying if we didn't have two first all-team pros at tackle. So, obviously our offensive line doesn't make me overall super nervous, but I do think the Giants have gotten good enough that they can fight for a third place spot in the NFC East.
They have life. Like before, they was just a dead body. You know what I mean?
100%.
Go in, step over them. Now they breathing. They a living thing. So like we actually got to take them serious. The Washington Commanders, they loaded up on the defensive line. Like obviously the big question is for them is how are we gonna stop Saquon Barkley next season? Like Washington through free agency, through the draft, like they really loaded up on defensive line talent. Just hoping and praying one of them guys could go toe to toe with Saquon or be a Saquon stopper.
Right.
So we definitely gotta. Yeah, we gotta be on point.
I think that Washington and
the little boys, they still destitute. You know what I mean? Like they had a good draft. They got some picks and stuff for the future. Like, but right now,
the only thing I'll say is that
like Dak Prescott era of Dallas is it's a wrap. It's done.
Yeah,
Dak Prescott era is just cursed.
I think it's coming to an end. Also, to just take a minute, guys, thank everybody for coming out tonight and spending a Friday night with two of the premier.
Friday.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a Friday. Everybody's coming and chilling. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys. Go to the sportsloungemedia.com, guys. Go check out the content. This is going to be the premier place to get your sports content of all kinds. NFL, MLB, NBA, you name it. Sportsloungemedia.com has it. You can also check my page out at Sunshine State Eagles on TikTok, as well as here on the Eagles Nest on YouTube. Also, you already know, don't have to introduce her. Queen of Philadelphia to my right. Go ahead and give her page a look as well. I have to. It's who I am. It's in my soul. But back to the point being, I don't think Washington. I think Washington had the worst draft out of all four teams, and I'm going to explain why. Washington did I love the Conley pick. The tackle pick. Love that pick because it invests in Jaden Daniels' future, right? He's got to be protected. He's going to be in Washington for the long haul. He is going to be a future superstar in the NFL, right? If he's not already budding on that. But at the moment, what has Washington done, in our opinion, to lead us to believe, because they were 28th in run defense last year, 29th overall. So that's bad. That's why you get that when you're that bad, you get 55 points put on you in conference championship games. So when you're that bad, 28th in run defense, what have they done? Who have they added that leads us to believe that they are going to be better? Because at 28, the same thing is you could be as good as you want to be on offense, but if you're not stopping the run, it's not going to help you, no matter how many offensive weapons you put in. I know they brought in Kinlaw. They brought in a couple other guys. Kinlaw's 27. And at the end of the day, his production hasn't been much above what John Allen was giving them. And I know they let him go due to injury, but I just don't think the Commanders have done enough defensively to replicate the success that they seen last year, because you cannot put it all on the back of Jaden Daniels. The kid's great. He's incredible, but he can't carry that whole team, guys. They need run help. I thought that, B-Rob was pretty underwhelming last season for the Washington Commanders. I thought he needed to give them a little bit more. Now, receiving wise, they got better. They got Deebo Samuels. They got Scary Terry, who's going to be their primary. Even though I still think Deebo is in prove it mode, especially with the last two seasons that he's had drop issues. He hasn't stayed particularly healthy all season long. The Commanders right now, I think, are riding on recent success, and you need to look at your defense as a whole. You bring back Bobby Wagner. He's great. Bobby Wagner is one of the all-time great linebackers in the NFL. He's also 34 years old. Guys, he's not going to be in the league very much longer. In their secondary, they have Standstill. I'm not a big believer in Marshawn Lattimore. I thought A.J. Brown had him in a box in the NFC Championship. Absolute hell, just getting absolutely boxed. But to his defense, so did Trick McDuffie. I think that the Commanders just aren't there yet on defense. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, chat, I'll stand in the paint. I'll come own it. But right now, the Commanders haven't done anything that moves the needle for me. Dallas.
Okay, hold on. So that's why I was saying, like, they got so many defensive tackles, not any like big significant names. I know they were going after. It's hilarious because they thought they was gonna get Milton Williams. They ended up with Kinlaw.
They said we selling the farm for Milton, and New England said pause. Hold on, pause.
They thought they was going to get Milton. They get Kinlaw. But they know their issue, right? Obviously, is glaring run defense. That's what I'm saying. I feel like they just hoping that one of these guys that they sign step up and be him, because they put such a big emphasis on the defensive line this offseason through free agency, through the draft. And they're just hoping one of these guys can be him.
Right.
When in turn, if one of these guys step up, maybe, but I agree with you that they didn't put a big emphasis on defense. They add Deebo. That adds a lot to the offense.
Absolutely. The offense is going to be versatile.
Already, like, they didn't have to do too much because they was already up.
Right. They were six in total offense, right? Something like that.
They didn't have to have a big splash off season. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anything in addition that they can get will help. But I mean, their defense was definitely like,
it was their Achilles heel, in my opinion. It's the reason.
It was just a hooping. Like, they was just hooping. If they offense can, they just keep putting up points, get the ball, praying they get the ball last. You know what I'm saying?
And then they fumble it, and they're like, "Oh God!"
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. In that game, even just as a quick recap, they drove down the field. It was a 13-play drive on the first drive of the NFC Championship. They kicked the field goal, and I'm like, "Man, this is gonna be a dogfight. Like, we are in for a game." Like, I thought it was gonna be a lot like the Rams game. I was like, "Oh," like I was already getting my medicine ready. I was like, "Oh, my heart, Jesus!" And then we pitch it to Saquon. He takes it to the crib, and I said, "Oh wow."
That was a wrap.
I said, wow, we're really fitting to belt these boys. Like,
Right.
and I had some of my guys here that were telling me all week, because I try to keep everything neutral. So I like to like look at everything from a neutral objective. You know that. But all week long, I was like 24-21 birds. It'll be close. It'll be a dogfight. And all my guys were like, no, I'm telling you right now, we're going to belt these cats. And I was like, I don't know, man. I think they're good on offense. And ended up being true. Ended up absolutely. I don't know that any of them thought we were putting 55 on them boys.
Right.
But it was definitely, a runaway. And as it pertains to Dallas, I felt Dallas had a great draft, right? They went and solved some linebacker issues. The Tyler Booker pick was weird for me at the beginning because I thought they could have gotten him in the second round. I do think he's the best pure guard in the draft. He in this year's past draft, he has a great mentality. But I thought, hey, you can grab him in the beginning of the second round. Why are you taking him in the beginning when you need receiving help, right? But
he was happy to be drafted too by Dallas.
Yeah, you see him talking that cash,
right?
That ish. He talking about he want Jalen Carter first. No, you don't, brother. Because if we go put on the college tape, Jalen Carter was giving you fits at Georgia. Absolute. Yeah, the only time. I mean, anyway, we'll get to that when we get to that. But at the end of the day, I thought they did a very good job. They got some offensive weapons. They answered linebacker problems. They've answered some defensive plug-in plays. Now we know history tells us Dak Prescott performs well in the regular season, specifically versus the NFC East. He is 33-6 in the NFC East, 9-4 against the Eagles, 11-2 versus the Commanders, and he has never lost to the Giants. So when I tell people that Dallas could compete for a second or third spot, they're like, "You're crazy, you're insane." Guys, don't look at last year. Look at history. In their worst year without Dak Prescott, the Dallas Cowboys went 7-10. God, I sound like a Dallas sympathizer. Jesus.
Nah, I'm not rocking with that, bro. I'm not. I feel like they finish. You're saying they're gonna finish when?
I think that there is no reason not to believe that Dak Prescott can't have a good enough season that Dallas finishes second or third in the division.
I think they finish third at best.
That's fair. As long as we're not saying fourth, because Dallas has had so much success in the last 4 years. I mean, we've traded the division with them for the last 4 years.
Yeah, I feel like they are like you said, they're regular season merchants. But I feel like this last season hit different.
Nail in the coffin.
Like, I feel like you see the body language of the players. You see the frustration with CeeDee Lamb. You see the frustration with Dak. You see the frustration with Trayvon Diggs. Like, this is the most frustrated I've seen their core. Micah Parsons beefing with Jerry.
Right.
Jerry, like, pushing them to the brink. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I've never seen this this era of Dallas. I've never seen their players so frustrated.
Disgruntled, right?
Yes. And I feel like that's going to show up even more on the field next season. So I feel like it's third at best for them because, like you said, the Giants, you know what I mean?
Got better. They did get better.
You know what I mean? You just said Dak is a regular season merchant against the Giants, undefeated against the Giants. That was the Giants of the past. You know what I mean? Like, this new Giants team, you got to be a little bit serious. You got to roll your shoulders back a little bit. You know
right. No, 100%.
I think that 1 and 2 is a lock. Eagles, Washington, we have the lock for 1 and 2.
See, I have Washington finishing somewhere 3 or 4. I think they take a big step backwards. I just
can't take that big of a step because their offense is still there's
good, very good
weapons on offense. Like, the fact that even if Jaden Daniels isn't playing like he played last season, right?
Right.
They still just have so much on offense that I think that offense is going to carry them to at least number 2. They're going to.
They would have to. But even we have to think too. Even last season, they split with Dallas without Dak Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I think the NFC is truly so competitive this year that I don't think we have lost enough defensively to come down from 1. I truly believe, and the last team.
Shoot, like, I know we have the number 1 defense, right? Like, come on now, defense win championships. I know, like, Vic Fangio, we was doing all that, but everybody ignores, like, all offseason, they're just so hyper focused on our defense. We returned 10 out of 11 starters on offense.
It's the only guy different is Mekhi. Mekhi's the only guy.
Like,
I don't think. And guys, the last time a team repeated in the NFC East, it was the Philadelphia Eagles in 2004. That was literally the last time there was back-to-back NFC East champions. And I think that this Philadelphia Eagles right now, the current window we are in, I don't think we've lost enough to go down from number one. And I know it sounds biased because I'm an Eagles fan to my core, but damn it, when you look at the production, we got one at quarterback, we got 2-6 in the backfield, we got Swole Batman out left. Who is beating the Eagles right now offensively? I mean, last season, no one could. I mean, it took us losing Jalen Hurts in a football game on the road and a 99 out of 100 drop by Smitty for the Commanders to beat us at home. So I think that, right now the Eagles are one firmly. 2, 3, and 4, it's so debatable because of how good I think the NFC East is going to be. I think we really won't know till the ball is snapped. But as of right now, man, I really think the Giants have gotten good enough that they can mix. It's like you said. Now, when New York pulls up, you're not like, oh shit, it's New York.
Right.
Let's just go to the crib.
Cardio in this game,
right? Like you're not gonna catch my man AJ Brown on the crib like this, sleep on the sideline. He gonna have to actually read his books.
Right.
I think that the NFC East is going to be extremely competitive, and it's going to be a fun show.
I do think that Washington earned the benefit of the doubt right now to get that number 2. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I
have the benefit of the doubt because what Washington is right now is proven. Like that offense is proven. Like I said, even if Jaden Daniels takes a little step back, right? They still have all the pieces for a high power offense. And then you add in Debo. So I think they get the benefit of the doubt of number 2 because when we look at the Giants, they still got to make that G work. You know what I mean?
Like, right. We don't know what it's going to look like.
We don't know what it's going to look like. Like defensively, obviously, you plug in Abdul. They already had a great defensive line. You plug in Abdul, boom, boom, boom. But Russell Wilson, come on, is a question mark right now.
100%. Yeah, I don't think it's a talent issue in East Rutherford. I think it's a coaching problem. I don't think Brian Daboll's the guy. The whole time he's been in New York, he's had a winning season and they were 9-8. So I don't necessarily think it's a talent issue. I think that it's Brian Daboll just can't get it done. Like that's just what it's going to come down to, in my opinion. Everybody in the Cowboys organization is coaching, playing, and drafting for their life right now. Like their job is on the line this coming season because I think we'll see a clean out in New York if they don't at least get 8 or 9 wins. At least.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's definitely on the seat is warm. Over there. But yeah, I think that right now 1, 2 go to us. The boys, Giants, they're fighting for number 3 right now. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
We got to see Russ. I got to see Russ.
Right, what he looks like.
I think Russ is going to get back in the kitchen. I think Russ is going to cook. I think he is. However, we still do have to see it because he's older, coming off an inconsistent season. So he's still got to come out here and show us before I'm like, oh, yeah, Russ and Neighbors, they about to tear it in. I see a little bit first.
100% agree. It's for any team, right, guys? I think it comes down to, like, we can speculate. This is what we're going to do from now until September the 4th. Right. Is just speculate and, kind of guess. And then once the ball is snapped, it's all a wrap. Then all the talking season ends and the pads start flying. And guys, I would not be surprised if there are more than 2 teams that go to the playoffs out of the NFC East. I really think that we are going to be that competitive. My favorite divisions coming into this next season are the NFC East, the AFC West, and the NFC North. Those are my favorite divisions. I think they have the best football teams in them. And speaking of which, let's go ahead. I know it's only May. Got a whole long time for we got to go over to, San Francisco for the Super Bowl next year. What's our top 3 favorites in the NFC right now? Because if you're asking me as a Birds fan, I'm going to tell you the Philadelphia Eagles need to be a favorite to play in that game next February. I know it sounds biased. Everyone's going to call us biased and homers and Eagles fans. But right now, guys, realistically, We've lost nothing on offense. We're going to do the same thing to people we did to them last year. We're going to say, we're going to run the football. Stop us if you can. Oh, if you do stop us, it's okay. We got a Super Bowl MVP at quarterback. We look at the defense. Defense lost some guys. I trust Vic Fangio to have the defense rolling because if you remember, nobody was calling us a superpower in week 4 in Tampa Bay when we were 2-2 and we had just gotten the belt put to us. So I think Vic Fangio can have this new group ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to go with the Birds at 1 as one of my favorites to go back to the Super Bowl. At 2, okay, the LA Rams. Matthew Stafford is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And he's a top 5 for me. In playoff performances, in championships, he gets it done when it matters. I think that Rams defense is going to come along. Jared Verse is probably going to take an even higher step than he took last season. You know, they add Devontae Adams paired with Puka. I think that's going to be absolutely dangerous. They go get a tight end in the draft to pair with Higbee that can be a little bit injured. Give me the Rams to comfortably win the NFC West, okay, and make their way back to the playoffs. Really high on the Rams. I think they're going to be a playoff team. I think they're going to be a problem. They were the closest team to beating our Birds, in my opinion, out of everybody in the playoffs. And that's not even just because the game was close. I mean, if you watch the game, it literally at every point in that game, I was like, "Oh Jesus, this is it." I was stressed the whole time. At 3rd, okay, the 3rd spot's hard for me because I think the Vikings take a giant step back. I think that I don't think Washington can beat us right now to get to a Super Bowl. Not during this window. The Lions will take a step back because of coaching. But give me them at 3 based off of the talent on the team. I do believe Dan Campbell will have whoever's ready to play. I think the Lions at 3 only because the Packers haven't done enough. I know they went receiver, very happy that they did that, but they haven't done enough for me to lead me to believe they're going to be Super Bowl contenders. So give me the Lions at 3. I got the Birds at 1, the Rams at 2, the Lions at 3, and I'll let you do your NFC side.
Mine is pretty similar. I agree with that Rams at number 2 because the Rams, they're just so consistent. They're coached very well. Like you said, Matthew Stafford, top quarterback in the NFC. They're always in the conversation because of their coaching, because of their development, because of their drafting. They're trying to go and add Jalen Ramsey. I got a bad taste in my mouth right now with the Rams because of this whole tush-push thing. Used to really respect the Rams, but their
Sean McVay's lame for that.
After we beat the Rams, their fan base they were wilding on the social apps.
Them and the Packers.
Like, take your loss and move on. Like, y'all ain't beat us in LA when it was hot outside. So
thank you.
Y'all blaming it on the snow. Y'all would have lost regardless. So,
I think it would have been worse if there wasn't snowing. It might have been worse. Exactly. AJ Brown dropped a touchdown earlier in the game that would have made it 3 scores. Rams fans, come on, just take the L and move on. We did.
They were going on. They were going on for days, weeks.
Talking that shit, like absolutely crazy.
Because I try not to go back and forth with people, and these are content creators, not even just people on Twitter.
Right, it's people it's almost like colleagues of ours that we're having to go back and forth with.
I'm seeing it, and it just taking everything in me not to say nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm just like, just take your loss and move on. Anyways. So
I can't tell you how many times I be telling myself, I'll be like, you know what?
Right. Just
if I want to work for ESPN one day, I can't do that. I can't talk like this. I gotta chill. Right.
So the Rams, they kind of put a bad taste in my mouth with that whole situation, coupled with this tush push. So I'm sick of the Rams right now. But I agree, Rams probably at number 2. Number 3.
That's a hard one.
That's a hard one. I might have to go. This is Super Bowl.
Yep, a Super Bowl team. Looking at the team they have right now, because we're post-draft, we're pretty much post-free agency with the exception of a few guys. So I think these are the teams that we're going to be looking at come fall.
Number 3. I hate. Oh my gosh, number 3. I hate to. When I'm thinking of a Super Bowl team, it needs to be a complete unit. You know what I'm saying? You got to have both sides of the ball. So, I mean, I look at a team like the Lions. I don't know if I even have a number 3 right now, honestly, because like you said, Lions lost a lot coaching wise. They lose their
Right.
defensive coordinator. Their defense was their, you know what I mean? Boom, boom, boom.
Right.
The way they went out last season, the way Jared Goff looked to end last season.
It was so hard for me to put them at 3 because I truly don't believe the Lions will ever win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff at the helm.
And it's just like the last 2 seasons that was their win. I feel like that was their time.
Right.
And they didn't capitalize. And I kind of feel like for them, it's like you had your chances, you blew it.
Right.
I can't think of anybody else in number 3 right now. I can't go Washington because that defense. I can't.
Right. We can leave. Let's say, because I agree. It was really. I only put the Lions just looking off roster, but I do think I just don't. In my heart, I don't believe the Lions will ever win I don't believe any team will ever win a Super Bowl. I'm not mad at the
Lions at number 3 though. I feel like if you have to go anybody,
it's them.
The Lions, because they're one of the few teams that's pretty balanced. You know what I mean? Like Washington is one-sided right now.
We'll say Lions for now. Like it'll be Lions, etc. Like
I can't even think like who else would be in that convo for number 3.
Yeah, it can't be the Packers. Packers haven't done enough defensively. They're losing Jair Alexander. The run defense wasn't great. And the Vikings, you look at the Vikings, their Vikings whole season, they'll be great defensively, but their whole season rides on if JJ McCarthy's that dude or not. So I don't necessarily know if I'm going to put stock in that. You look at, the Niners they'll get better defensively because of Robert Saleh, but offensively right now,
they have nothing.
It's a bare cabinet. You open that joint and it go. So I think that, outside of us and the Rams, the Cardinals aren't there yet. The Seahawks took a giant step back. I don't trust just Sam Darnold as far as I can throw him. You look at, the Falcons got better defensively, but is Michael Penix really the guy that's going to lead them out of the dark?
Like they be in their own way, but they did get a lot better defensively.
100%.
100%. I feel like that's the kind of thing we have to see though, just because they've been so inconsistent. But they have a unit now. I feel like,
I have them being very competitive. I still have them at first in the NFC South. I think the Panthers will get more competitive, but they're not a Super Bowl team. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are too old to be a Super Bowl team, in my opinion. I don't think that their receiving core is just either injured or old, and I don't know that Baker Mayfield plays well in the playoffs, but I don't know that he's the guy to lead them there. So right now, yeah, we'll go Eagles, Rams, Lions, fringe. The Lions are a fringe third.
Yeah, fringe.
In the AFC, and we'll make it quick because I know you've got some other things that you got going on. The AFC, guys, I'm gonna blow y'all. Chiefs fans, buckle up. That's all I'm gonna say, because I think this is the year we finally see the Chiefs take that step back. Now, when I say step back,
thank us for exposing them.
The
rest of the league can thank the Eagles for.
I was telling somebody the other day on one of my morning TikTok lives that we are definitely the dynasty killers. You look at the Patriots back in the day. Now you got the Chiefs. We brought it to its knees. Guys, I think the Chiefs take a step back. Their division is tough. The AFC West looks so good this next season. So at number 1, give me the Buffalo Bills by the grace of God. It is finally Josh Allen's time. I went back and I looked at Josh Allen's playoff numbers. The kid plays out of his mind in the playoffs. The problem? He never has a great defense, and I think it's coaching. I truly do believe Sean McDermott is the problem, because Josh Allen's playoff numbers are freaky good, like crazy good. I don't think I've ever seen him have a bad game. So for that reason, I'm going to put the Bills at 1. I think it's finally their time. Defensively, they added a guy in Bosa. I know he's got to prove that he can still play at the level he once played at. But I think that, if the Bills can get it figured out on defense and at least be a top 10 defense, give me the Bills to be in a Super Bowl and an AFC championship. At 2, Ravens fans, you've got your Avengers. Okay, Lamar is the worst performing playoff quarterback out of the considered elite by far. All right. Now, I will give y'all this. This last season, he played well in the playoffs. It wasn't, went back and I looked at the numbers. I know I was talking that but I looked back and that was on me. Lamar did play very well in these last 2 playoff games. But outside of that, he has not been particularly great. He has more turnovers than he does touchdowns in the playoffs. He's got to fix that. But right now, the Ravens are primed. Their defense got better in the secondary, and that was arguably their most glaring issue, was the secondary, because run defense, they'll be fine. They've got Derrick Henry. They've got Zay Flowers, who's considered to be one of the better slot guys, okay? You still have Isaiah Likely, and I know Mark Andrews dropped the football. He should have caught it, but he is still one of the better tight ends in the league. Give me the Ravens at 2, okay? Now, Chiefs fans, I know I said you take a step back. when I say that, I mean you're not going to go 11-1 in one score games, and you're not going to go 15-2. I think that the Chiefs right now are a 11-12 win football team. That's where I have them right now. At 3, the Denver Broncos defense on paper looks to be the best in the NFL. They have got Patrick Surtain. They bring in Barron. The defensive line is young. Love the Bonita kid. The linebacking core is great. I think that if Bo Nix can take that next step, the Denver Broncos can be a problem in the AFC. They're going to be my dark horse. I'm going to put them at 3.
I like that. I'm going to have to go with the Ravens number 1. Adding to that defense, Lamar. I mean, it's a toss up between Bills and Ravens,
right,
in my opinion, but kind of the same reason that you're saying the Bills. Like Lamar, he has got the regular season's MVPs. He, got the stats, got the accolades, and in the playoffs, it's just like
disappears.
This is the year for them. 2 drops away. You know what I'm saying? 2 drops from Mark Andrews, and it would have been a whole different story. So I'm going to have to go with Ravens. They add our guy, Malachi Starks, to the defense. Make an instant impact. Derrick Henry put up darn near almost historic numbers last season. So you still got that offense with.
And they got Mike Green.
Right.
Like, what more does he need?
Developing, drafting. The Ravens are going to be in the conversation. It's just going to come down to execution.
Right.
I think that they do that this season. In this prediction, Lord knows.
Yeah, but we really. I mean, guys, it's May. Take it with a grain of salt. It's May.
Like we saying, like they've had it for the past couple of seasons. Get there, and
it all rides on can Lamar perform.
Exactly.
I'm looking at him and him alone, because right now, as it pertains, he does not perform like a top 5 quarterback in the playoffs. Not even close.
Number 2, I'm gonna go with the Bills. Same reason why you were saying, Josh Allen, he's been putting up them numbers. He's him in the playoffs. The monkey on his back being the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, they not them no more. You know what I'm saying? That allure is gone. That aura is gone thanks to us. So I'll have the Bills number 2. Derrick Henry is just the reason why I got Lamar.
That's fair.
That X factor that the Ravens have. And then number 3, I'm gonna put the Chiefs number 3 just because of what Patrick Mahomes can do against these other teams.
Right.
Not against the Birds. You know what I mean?
Right. In other words,
against these other teams.
Teams like the Broncos and the Chargers, they have to prove they can beat him on that stage. Because at the end of the day, it's still Patrick Mahomes. He is singularly the best quarterback in the NFL right now. We've looked at the numbers. We know it. It's 1. And really, when we're talking top 5, we're talking 2 through 5. Like, let's be honest.
Right.
So I think that, I agree with that 3. I don't hate it. I put the Broncos as a dark horse because I do think they're going to be good, but I would not be surprised if the Kansas City Chiefs made it back.
Broncos defense, like you said,
nuts on paper.
Defense, legit.
Question is, can it come together? It's like the Bears. Every year, the Bears look incredible in the offseason. We're like, man, they did it. They fixed it. And then they come out, we're like, what the hell?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the Bears look like this season.
Can Caleb finally get it done with Ben Johnson at the quarter? I'm excited. The offensive line's all new. That defense was good a year ago. The problem was they noticed that the offense wasn't scoring, and they said, "Man, I ain't doing all this. Like you got me out here working 2 full-time jobs. I can't do this."
Right.
I think
offseason.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. I think this next coming season, I think it's going to be one of the more interesting NFL seasons. I'm very excited to be a part of it in this space. And again, I will always give Simone her flowers for, what she did for me in the spaces. So guys, we're excited. The the talking season's almost done. Drafts come and gone. Rookie mini camps here. Before we know it, OTAs will roll around. Guys, it's about that time, right? It's about time for football, the best sport on earth. And I do want to say thank you to everybody that came out tonight to hang out with me and Simone and talk a little bit of ball again. Check out the sportsloungemedia.com. It is going to become the premier place to get sports content. I promise you that. Big things in the works. You're going to see us at events like the Super Bowl, the draft, Eagles games, other NBA games, MLB games, all the works. We are working extremely hard to make it for you guys. And also, you can check me out at Sunshine State Eagles on TikTok. That is where I am primarily most active. I am getting this YouTube thing rolling a little bit because I'm having a lot of fun with it. And also, obviously, she needs no introduction. Go check out Simone with the sports. Obviously, is the Queen of Philadelphia and on the rise, has had a lot of opportunities as of late. Chasing dreams, man, it's what you have to do, and it's very inspiring. But guys, thank you so much, Simone. Always thank you for your
Yeah,
time.
of course. Thanks for having me.
Always. We'll get back together later in the season when things are kind of kicking off to discuss how things are going. But guys, as for right now, thank you for coming out to the Eagles Nest. Thank you. Have a great night. And as always, go Birds.